You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Weird. What's up, all my Ewoks, triples, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as That Star Wars Girl, and in today's video, we are once again going to be talking about the new Disney live-action Snow White, starring Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler herself. Now, this video is going to be specifically about the dwarves, because we finally got a look at the new CGI dwarves. The CGI dwarves that are all because of this man right here, Peter Dinklage. Now, I played you a little snippet from an interview that he did, I believe it was like a year or two ago, right when they announced this movie, and he went on this podcast and basically, had a little bitch fit about, oh, how dare they use dwarves in the Snow White movie.
I was a little taken back by the they're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah.
But you're still telling the story of Snow White.
Yeah.
7 dwarves.
Sure.
So take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of 7 dwarves living in a cave. What the fuck are you doing, man?
Weird. Yeah, it is a little weird considering the dwarves don't live in a cave. The dwarves actually have a very nice home that they all share together that Snow White finds and goes into and cleans up their house, cooks for them so that way, she could try to gain their favor so that way they would be willing to hide her from the evil queen, her stepmother. They're not just a bunch of bum, weird, orcs that live in a cave like in Lord of the Rings. They're all accomplished men with jobs. Don't you remember the song Hi Ho, Hi Ho, it's home from work we go. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Come on, that's what they're singing in this photo. Peter Dinklage is obviously, maybe he's so offended by dwarfism, even though he himself is a dwarf and has built his entire career off of it. Tyrion Lannister, hello. But maybe he's so offended by that, and I guess this is just him showing his insecurity, that he doesn't know that the dwarves have a job, that the dwarves have a beautiful home that the princess herself felt safe enough to go and hide in and stay with them, and that they were such nice guys that they would be willing to harbor the princess, even though they could, risk life imprisonment or even death from the evil queen. So he just went on this podcast and bitched about it. So either he's very insecure about the fact that he's a dwarf, or maybe Disney didn't call him and offer him his choice of the role, so he went on a podcast and bitched about it.
There's a lot of hypocrisy going on, I gotta say, from being somebody who's a little bit unique.
Yeah, there is a lot of hypocrisy from you. I mean, Disney's just as bad, and we'll get into it. But because of Peter Dinklage, they decided to not hire 7 people with dwarvism, real dwarves in real life, because dwarves do exist. They're not fairy tale creatures. Obviously, Peter Dinklage himself is a dwarf and has built his entire career off of his dwarfism. Tyrion Lannister. Heck, there's a movie, not a lot of people remember it. It's with Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is obviously not a dwarf. This movie's called Tiptoes. It's got Matthew McConaughey, Gary Oldman, Peter Dinklage. In the movie, Gary Oldman is pretending to be a dwarf and walks around the movie on his knees, pretending that he's got dwarfism and is supposed to be Matthew McConaughey's twin. Peter Dinklage had no problem starring in that movie, but Snow White and the 7 Dwarves, no, how dare you? How dare you? No, this is the embodiment of evil. And because of this, Peter Dinklage lost 7 people jobs.
Following Peter's remarks, a spokesperson for Disney told ET in a statement, quote, "To avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period."
And because of Peter's statements, they went from having 7 dwarves to this. The 7 SJW bandits of wokeism. Look at this. And so this leaked back after I guess they took the photo, and everyone lost their minds at how terrible idea of this was. Because again, these aren't just random dudes. They have jobs. Like they're 7 dudes with actually a prestigious, well-paying job, and they decide to live as close to the mine as possible in their beautiful house. Again, a beautiful house that Snow White herself wanted to stay in. Beautiful, beautiful home. But no, instead they have to go from being 7 established men with jobs to 7 random bandits, and only one of them has dwarfism. And this received so much backlash that I guess Disney decided, instead of going with that, to go with these CGI monstrosities. And so now, instead of hiring 7 people that happen to have dwarfism for jobs, now instead we have these CGI monsters, and 7 dwarves are out of jobs. It's not like there's a lot of big budget Hollywood blockbuster movies that star people with dwarfism. No, this is like the cream of the crop for the dwarfism community. And because of Peter Dinklage, they've been replaced by these CGI monsters. And I saw a lot of the backlash when this first happened from the dwarfism community, and how they were all pissed at Peter Dinklage. It's like, oh, because you got to be in Game of Thrones, now no other dwarf can have a job. F you, Peter Dinklage.
If you tell the story of Snow White,
yeah,
it's most f***ed up, cool, progressive spin on it. Let's do it.
You guys ready to see Disney's big progressive spin on it?
Now you wash the dishes.
Now you wash the dishes.
You tidy up the room.
You tidy up the room.
You clean the fireplace.
You clean those cobwebs.
And I'll use the broom.
And he'll use the broom.
So Disney took these 7 established men with jobs and took a princess who was virtuous and sweet and kind and made her into this dictator that busts into these guys' homes and then forces them to cook and clean for her. And she just gets to stay in their house for free and make them do all of the work. So is that what you wanted, Peter Dinklage? And you lost 7 people their jobs, all because you bitched about it. Now, Peter Dinklage is obviously not responsible for the story and the changes that they made to Snow White herself, but still, like, I would have liked to have seen 7 actual people playing these roles. And based on the outcry from the dwarfism community and, you know, them all speaking out, like there's a lot of influencers that have dwarfism that have said, like, what the hell, man? Like, you lost 7 of us a job. And that's why, in my theory, I think he's just bitter because he didn't get the call himself. He didn't get the red carpet rolled out for him to, you know, offer him one of the parts. Like, oh, hey, do you want to play like Doc, grumpy, happy, sleepy, sneezy, bashful, or dopey? Like, do you want to play any of them? Which he probably would have gotten offended by. Right? But still, I think that that's what it is. I think it was ego. And then now, because of his ego, we got this. So thanks, Peter Dinklage. Because of you, we got these CGI monsters. Like, at least when Peter Jackson was making The Hobbit, he cast real people and then just had the makeup department, you know, make them up to make them look like they belong in this fantasy world, which is honestly what Disney should have done, because this is supposed to be live action. They keep advertising all these movies like, oh, it's the live action Lion King. And it's like, nothing about that was live action. Those aren't real lions. Everything is CGI. Same with these movies. It's like, okay, yeah, the princess is live action, but all of the animals, everything else, it's not. It's just not. And Disney even did this back in the day, like with Mary Poppins, but it was adorable when Mary Poppins and Bert took the kids into like the make-believe world with the little penguins and the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious song. Like, that was adorable and full of heart and love. This is terrifying. Like, maybe they're trying to go, I don't know if you guys ever watched that version of Snow White with Sigourney Weaver, and it's like a horror movie with the dwarves and like with her being like the evil queen, and it's like her and Sam Neill. And there's a few different versions of Snow White where it's like more of like a horror aspect of it. Heck, even if you go and read Fables, the comic, everything that happened with Snow White and the dwarves, that's a horror story in and of itself. But I don't think Disney was going for that. But I guess the only light at the end of the tunnel with this is that, you know, the way that they do this scene, instead of the dwarves being at work and coming home to finding Snow White sleeping as a freeloader in their house that happened to clean and cook for them, instead they're home from work and they come home and this chick is in their house and forces them to cook and clean for her. So I guess like the real life dwarves don't have to deal with that. It's these CGI monstrosities, but still, like, everything about this is just got dumpster fire shit show written all over it. But anyways, guys, that's my 2 cents on the situation. Let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. If you guys like this video, please smash the like button. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far through. And if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. Make sure that that bell is set to all. That way you actually get notifications when I post videos and when I do live streams. And until next time, everyone, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And may the force be with you, because we are really, really, really going to need it. Bye, everyone.